Shot.
Welcome to another Revenge of Podcast One Shot. We are here today with a very, very special guest, the star of Rick and Morty, Rick Sanchez himself, Ian Cardoni. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
You like that intro?
That was great.
That's my bit, is I ask people if they like the intro immediately after the intro.
Fantastic.
I
I loved it.
I feel like it sets the
personally.
tone. Thank you.
And you really got it great on like the 7th try. That was excellent.
Yeah.
Well done.
Foiled. Thank you for joining us. Your rep was like, oh, I know this guy that plays Rick and Rick and Morty. Would you be interested? I said, yeah, I'd be interested.
Cool.
I have a Rick Sanchez tattoo right here. It's actually,
Look at that.
it's a Gucci Rick, you know, Gucci Mane?
Yeah, I do.
He's
And
got
with the tattoo
yeah,
of the yes,
but it's
absolutely.
a Gucci Rick. So.
I see. That is fantastic.
There you go.
And clearly an original piece.
Clearly, yeah.
Very cool.
So anyway, you are the star of one of my favorite shows, and I can't believe you're here. So I don't even know where to begin, other than you've been on the show now for 3 seasons. Season 7 was your first go.
Yes.
Specifically, how Poopy got his poop back.
Was the debut
Was the
episode
debut.
of that season. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did this come about? How did you land this role? I know it's a crazy story, but I don't know it. So
Sure.
please tell me.
I'm happy to tell. And thank you also for having me, for being a fan, for watching the show. Yeah, what a crazy process that was. So the role became available, and I'd been doing voice work and impressions, and mainly just to make my wife laugh, or joke around with friends. We're gaming, we're in the Discord, and I could just pop into a voice every now and then. But I had started to do more voice matching work professionally, and around the same time that this role came available, and I was really hoping to jump into animation somehow, break in there. And so I told my reps, I said, look, I'd love to throw my hat in the ring. Here's a demo. We sent it around to anybody who would listen. Eventually that got into the right ears, and I was able to audition. It was released as a breakdown.
Yeah.
You'd audition for it like any other role. Obviously, a lot of people vying for it. They did, I think, several worldwide searches over the course of 6 months. And so for me, I think I submitted a demo in January, end of January, early February, something like that. And then I got the call pretty much on my birthday in June. So that's the full timeline. And in between then was vocal coaching sessions and callbacks and producer sessions. And okay, back to square one. Let's listen to everybody again. And all right, yep, okay, well, we'd love to bring you in and see if you can do this kind of thing. And can you match picture here? And every round got closer and closer. It was really tough not to just, you go to an audition as an actor and you just try not to think about it afterwards.
Yeah.
This got tougher and tougher to not think about the closer and closer it got. And I really, I'm a fan of the show.
Yeah.
I've watched since season 1. And so, number one, I wanted to make sure the show could continue and keep making these adventures, And so I wanted it more and more as it went on.
Yeah.
And that motivated me also to bring what was previously an impression to something that was sustainable, that I could bring in day after day, session after session, not wear out, and explore the full range of the character.
So you're basically Mark Wahlberg and Rockstar, more or less.
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that. Yeah.
What enormous shoes to fill, and I'm sure it was terrifying to actually get the job.
I
to a
think,
degree.
yeah. Well, I think there's always going to be nerves around something that you care about, and yes, this is an iconic role, but I will also say that there are so many people that work on this show that contribute to the character of Rick, whether it's animators, writers. I'm happy to be the voice and bring those words off the page. It's it really is a dream job. But I will say that the responsibility is shared among a whole team who have been incredibly supportive since day one, since before day one of work. Actually, through the whole audition process, I would say that the entire crew, and production staff have been really, from everything from vocal health to understanding sort of the responsibility and the the bigness of the role in the show and its impact, how people were hoping to receive the change,
Yeah.
if at all. And, I mean, I think the greatest compliment that I do get from fans is, I didn't even realize the transition. I didn't even notice you. I'm like, good, that was the job.
Yeah, I mean,
Just keep
I
it seamless.
was terrified as a fan, how it was going to transition or if we were going to have to like address it in any way in the show.
Hmm.
And I was happy to find out that it was like business as usual, which was, I guess, a testament to your work and study and all that sort of stuff.
Thank you. Yeah.
But yeah, it's incredible. And honestly, I don't even remember a difference before.
Thank
So
you. I appreciate that. Well, and look, in the history of animation and in voice acting,
yeah, it's not unusual.
no, the voice changes happen
Yeah.
for many reasons, and voices also change over time naturally. The
Yeah.
show had been on for 10 years before I stepped into those shoes,
Right.
right? So, voices change naturally, characters are on journeys, and with writing that is anything but stagnant,
Yeah.
that is just, we're so lucky to have the writers we have. With these stories going where they go, I think it's great to allow for the growth of the character and
Hmm.
and a lot of different range. I think we're seeing, particularly in season 9, we're seeing a lot of new sides of Rick, and
Yeah.
in this multiverse, it's a real sandbox to play in.
Are
You know,
you tired about talking about taking over the role yet? Are you ready to move on to like talking about being the
I
role?
I'm happy to provide it as context and talk about it. I mean, look,
Yeah.
it's part of my story, and it's something I'm so grateful for, and
Yeah.
it was a cool, unique process as an actor. I think that the fandom has moved on from it.
Yeah.
So
100%.
I think
I
I
have
yeah,
for
I
sure.
think most people are kind of over that conversation. I think that people like to lead with a headline,
Yeah.
and so a lot of press that comes out even for season 9 might say, by the way, 2 years ago, you might have noticed. But honestly, even when we were recording season 7, the whole job was, let's just make it seamless. Let's
Yeah.
just keep it going, not skip a beat.
I love the fact that it feels like the episodes are coming out more frequently than they were in the past. Like we're getting more seasons quicker, and particularly like season 9, I think is one of the best seasons in recent memory.
Yeah,
Each episode has been a banger. Talk to me about like the process of like making
yeah,
the show, like what goes into it, what's the timeline
sure.
on the things, is everything.
Well, first thing I'll say is, I think Harry, who took over the role of Morty,
Yeah,
we are extremely motivated to, be team players and make sure that we're doing our jobs and we can
yeah,
get these episodes out and give as many options for the team as possible so that they can do their thing. And, the writer's room is maybe a season or two ahead of what we're recording at any given
right,
time. So everybody on production is working on several uh, parts of the show, several different seasons, at any given time. So there's
yeah,
stuff in motion. Uh, our part is, maybe takes the better part of a year on and off around the writer's room schedule to go in and record an episode, over the course of a couple weeks. We'll do weeks on and then maybe weeks off, and then we'll
yeah.
do some pickups. So it's not a rigid set schedule,
Hmm.
but I will say, once they're ready, they call for us, we go in, we do our job,
Yeah,
and we try to be as efficient as possible because there are rewrites, there are pickups that are needed. As many options as we give, that might inspire the writers to go back and rewrite a scene, and so we got to record that as well.
right.
And to keep everything kind of moving and on schedule, we're ready at a moment's notice, and that's why also vocal health is important
I
because
Jesus,
there's a
yeah.
there's a lot required in any given session, and then to keep coming back and keep it consistent, that's the main part of the job. And yeah, I will just say I think it's a testament to how our showrunner Scott Martyr and the whole team works together. I think we're in a really good flow right now, and we're
Yeah.
so grateful that Adult Swim renewed us through season 12 at least.
Thank
I
God.
know, and hopefully beyond that, if fans keep watching,
Yeah.
where I think we're prepared to, and this is a show that is in a unique position to be able to continue indefinitely.
Yeah.
That's just the beauty of these stories, these characters.
And there's a
So.
movie happening, right?
So yeah, so that's also very recent news. I wouldn't have any more information. I have the same information you do, working off the same. But I'm very excited,
Yeah.
and I think that's just another example of how whether it's a new season or a movie or any kind of media fits into this multiverse. There's
Yeah.
places for it to go. And I
Yeah,
think that's a great way to keep it fresh for the fans too. And if
for sure.
maybe some people who dropped off the show will be brought back in by something like a movie and then catch up on all the seasons, or vice
Yeah.
versa.
Yeah.
People catch up.
So now you've done animation, video games, like all sorts of voice work. Talk to me about the difference between like working on video games versus this sort of animation. Like, did you do mocap stuff, like any sort of things like that, or
I've done a little bit of mocap and
yeah,
some facial capture as well. I think just when you're actually recording in the booth, the
yeah,
actual technique, I guess, video games tend to move a lot quicker.
sure,
Two options, and then there you go. And I'm like, whoa, I'm just getting warmed up. And I think that's being relatively new to animation and to that kind of recording. When I stepped into the role of Rick, I'm spoiled. I get to give so many options for Rick.
yeah,
We're working. It's just me and the sound
engineer.
engineer, the producers, the director. There's no other actors, but that means we're capturing all of Rick's stuff.
You're just
On an,
riffing and
yeah, we're riffing and not as much improv as you might
yeah,
think.
yeah, yeah.
These scripts arrive to us, having gone through so many revisions, so
I'm
making it
sure.
sound as improvisational as
It felt
possible.
like in the past there was a lot of improvisation, or at least some sections of it. But
I can't really speak to the process. I will
yeah,
say that I think that there was this sort of legend and lore around the show
sure.
based on some behind the scenes
Yeah, yeah,
videos that were just sort of like, wow, this is so cutting edge, this is so
yeah.
edgy, and so I think that the show has a bit of a mystique about it,
Yeah.
in terms of how what the impression is of how it's made. I can't speak to it, but what I can say is, we have a lot of fun. I can burp whenever I want. That's,
Incredible.
right. Stammers, they come out whenever. So there's, my job's largely interpretive, but hopefully
Yeah.
to maintain that same essence of the
Do you
character.
have any sort of creative leeway in the character of Rick now, in terms of like making it your own in any sort of way? I mean, I guess it's an ever evolving sort of character.
Sure.
So
Well, I'd like to think that, that just by being the one voicing the role, I'm bringing something inherently unique. And
yeah,
any actor is going to bring their
sure.
take on any role, right? So I like to think that anything that I'm capable of is in service of the character. That
Yeah,
I can bring to the table. For instance, being able to rap or sing a little bit in Rick's voice and keep it consistent in the voice, but still
yeah,
do it, has provided some options for a couple episodes, such as the Fearhole episode,
yeah,
and being able to do accents, bring that to someone like Boss Hog Rick,
yeah,
or the James Bond type Rick that we had in one episode. So being able to kind of step in and have a choice ready, have an idea ready, or have a direction that maybe was different from what the writers had envisioned, or maybe they just didn't expect it.
yeah,
That's always very fun. But it's always, I'm not going rogue and, inventing, entire speeches or anything like that.
sure.
It's always, with the guiding hand of everybody working on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite episode you've done so far?
I think for a long time it was on Mort Ricken, and just
Which one's
the
that?
big fight between Rick Prime and Rick.
Yeah.
I recorded that very early on, stepping into the role,
Uh-huh.
and so that was a huge challenge, because I mean, just on the voice, it's the beating of Rick Prime towards the end. I had all kinds of stuff stuck in my mouth, like fruit leather, cotton swabs, and things like just to get the sound of the teeth falling out and the blood just right. And so that was really fun to explore as an actor, and it was, I think, really kind of cool to drop this canon heavy episode right in the middle of a season two,
Yeah.
and I think it showed a good range for both Harry and I and what we were bringing to those roles
Yeah.
early on. It was a good test, a good challenge, but also like a good, I don't know, signal to anybody worried out there in the fandom that, like, oh, okay, we,
Yeah.
we can move forward. This is great. So it
Do,
was a favorite of mine.
do you so to your point then, do you record out of order like the episodes to the seasons? It's like
It's
all
funny.
over the place.
It's
So they
funny.
just pull
Yeah.
you in. They're like, here, record this bit.
Yeah, it's funny. By the end of a given season, you're kind of we're all kind of confused as to whether
What's going on?
which one's that's coded to be the first episode, but this is actually the first episode. Because yeah, I think sometimes there's some switches that take place, and we also have nicknames for each episode
Yeah.
that are different from the official episode title, and that's different from the the bro-nopsis or whatever it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which drives me
yeah.
insane because I try to go back and be like, what was that episode about? Who knows?
Right, right. Yeah, well, you're not alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, we share that.
I would say one of my favorite episodes this season so far has been, I think it's called Rick's Days 7 Nights. That's the one
Yes.
where it's like the vacation planet.
Yes,
I thought that was so good.
Thank you so much.
That episode was so good.
Definitely a different version of the character, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we've never seen him off. We've
Yeah.
never seen Rick taking a break, and in this case, having a totally different persona.
Yeah.
We all have our vacation modes, but his is an actual setting.
Yeah.
So I think that that explored a lot, and especially coming off of the premiere episode, very canon heavy as well. So you have
Yeah.
like two very different flavors of Rick and Morty that I think both harken back to the early days of, wow, what is this show? And
100%.
what are they doing? Yeah, I mean, this one was, just kind of bathroom humor, and this one, tugged at the heartstrings.
Yeah, super poignant moments
Yeah.
and like really great music cues,
Absolutely.
like out of nowhere, like all that. I mean,
Absolutely.
that's why I love the show. Like, I'm personally not like a crazy animation fan,
Mhm.
which is probably not the right thing to say right now. But
Your tattoos say otherwise.
But right now, Rick and Morty, I always say except Rick and Morty. I watch it every night, every time it airs.
Oh, thanks, man.
As a fan, before you joined, did you have a favorite episode or something that really like stood out to you as a favorite moment?
I will say I think I watched the Anatomy Park episode the most as a
yeah.
rewatch
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it was a holiday episode.
Yep.
And that was what I would just kind of quietly put that in the family like yearly rewatch. So
Yeah.
we'd have all the classics: Home Alone, It's a Wonderful Life,
Anatomy Park.
Anatomy Park. Yeah, Mom's like, "What is this show?" And then years later, come to
Here
find
you
out-
are.
Yeah, right. But that was always a favorite.
Yeah.
And John Oliver being the guest on that did a great job too.
Yeah,
So,
so
yeah,
good.
super fun.
We just watched the episode. I don't know if it's the most recent episode, but the one with Snowball coming back was like,
Yeah,
so thank God we get more Snowball, you know?
yeah. And Rob Paulson, amazing,
Yeah.
legendary voice there. Great to have him back in that role. And I that was also an episode where I felt when it finally aired, I could put on the hat of a fan once more as
Yeah.
well, because some of the episodes, if they're very Rick heavy, I've
Yeah.
worked with him a ton, I've sat with him a bunch. There's a little bit less Rick in that episode,
Yeah.
which allows me to just kind of watch it fresh for the first time. I'm not watching all these different versions of it until it's
What a crazy
ready.
process it
It's
must
fun.
be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because I used to wait for the new episodes to air too,
Yeah.
and sometimes too long. And now the joy for me is getting a new script in my hands and getting to read it, and that's
Oh,
just the
man.
coolest thing.
I bet.
Just I don't know. I'm not yet over, and I hope I never get over the joy of seeing the Rick and Morty title on the page with my name in a watermark. That is so surreal to me.
It's crazy.
And I get to keep all the secrets, but it's a lot of fun.
What inspires you out there? Like, what sort of other animation, acting work, voice work? I mean,
yeah.
what are you into personally?
I love all things sci-fi and
Yeah.
fantasy. So I grew up a huge Tolkien fan.
Okay.
My dad read me The Hobbit when I was old enough to listen,
Yeah.
and just so that's very much a part
Ingrained.
of my Star Wars, Star Trek,
Okay.
especially. I mean, name all the big hits. I'm there.
Yeah.
The classics, Battlestar Galactica, Buckaroo Banzai.
Goddamn.
All the real popular ones. But no, yeah, I mean, in terms of animation as well, I mean, I grew up watching The Simpsons. Was a big fan of Archer. Was a big fan of Robot Chicken. And,
Yeah,
and
my
things,
God, so all of them. I'm just trying to like
Yeah.
dissect, like get an idea of
Yeah.
who you are in terms of like what has led you to this.
I'm eclectic.
Yeah.
I'm eclectic. Music tastes the same way. I'm
Yeah,
kind of
yeah, yeah.
all over the map. Yeah, I don't know. I love everything from Winnie the Pooh to Ghostbusters. I don't know. Yeah, um, depends on my mood, depends on the day. And
Yeah,
and I'm so I wish I had the quick recall of so many people who you know run comic book shops and things like that.
sure.
Because I am a fan of so much.
Yeah. I'm the same way,
In pop,
honestly. If
yeah,
someone's like, what's the best comic out right now? I'm like, I don't
yeah,
know. There's
right.
like 90 of them.
Right. Or yeah, it'll be like a super obvious actor whose name I totally forget in an
Yeah.
instant. So, I'm really bad at stuff like that. But yeah, I'm definitely a fan, and I'd like to think that it influences, what I'm able to bring into the booth. One kind of fun. This is just kind of a weird tangent that you reminded me
Please.
of. But there was this one moment, it might have been my fourth day at work
Yeah.
as Rick, and they needed some sort of a death scream, some sort of a wail, in pain. And we weren't quite getting the cadence that was going to match the moment. And so I was trying to give him a bunch of options. And then one of our producers, Steve Levy, he said, I'm going to give you a really weird reference. And I don't know if you ever played Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast. And I was like, only every day for like 3 years of my life did I play that. And I still sometimes go back and replay it. It's one of my favorite of all time games.
Yeah.
Great Star Wars game. And he was like, there's this one scream that the protagonist Kyle Katarn does when he dies, and it's like this. I was like, I know exactly the scream. I can hear it in my head. I will do that. One take, done, move on. And so it was just like this weird note that I got that I just happened to. I don't know. I don't know. Was it that popular a game? I don't know. It was one of those
Not for me.
serendipitous moments where I was like, wow, okay, that paid off.
Are you a
Video
gamer
games.
these days
I
still?
do game, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of Age of Empires 4.
Okay.
So I don't know, for you RTS fans out there,
Yeah.
I'm not very good. At least my friends remind me that I could be better. Um, but I have a lot of fun with that. And yeah, I've played a lot of like the Lethal Company and
Hmm.
Backrooms, those sorts of games.
Cool.
Sometimes they get a little too scary for me.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
if it's 11:30 at night and I'm about to go to bed, I don't necessarily need monsters popping out of me and chasing me. But
I
but
feel
those
that
are
way
fun.
about like Resident Evil. I can't.
Yeah,
I still to this day can't play it. It's too
yeah.
spooky. You know?
I also play Magic the Gathering a
Really?
little bit. Yeah, yeah.
When are we? Have we had a Rick and Morty secret lair? Have we?
Not yet.
There definitely will be
I'd
one,
love one.
or like
I
a full set.
and that wasn't teased, by the way. It hasn't happened. I hope it does. I would love to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would sell
Um,
like hotcakes. As
I
someone in
think
the
so.
magic business,
Yeah, I think so.
who's
Mhm.
still sitting on a bunch of TMNT magic cards. I'll tell you what, Rick and Morty, pff, out the door.
That would be amazing.
Yeah,
Well, we love that. I mean, I would certainly love that, and I would just yeah. So I had a collection as a kid
yeah.
of Magic cards, and I probably never really played the game the way it was supposed to be played when I was a kid. But in the '90s, I had a bunch of a couple boxes.
Yeah.
And I don't know, 2 years ago, I decided to give them to a friend of mine who I know is a collector. He's really big into Magic, a friend of mine from my hometown. And I was like, hey, look, I'm not going to do anything with these. I'm trying to pare down. Why don't you, be the custodian of these cards, find them
Yeah.
a good home, put them in a deck, whatever. I don't. If there's anything, worth anything in there, maybe
Please
let me
let me
know.
know.
Yeah, let me know. But no. And then about a month later, Harry, my co-star, was like, "Hey, we should get into Magic. You should play Magic." I just gave away all my cards, and but it worked. I now have a whole other collection now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a slippery
it's
slope,
yeah.
especially these
hmm
days. There's a new. I think every month this year we've had like a new set of
There's
some
a lot,
kind.
and I hope it doesn't oversaturate things
Oh,
because
it has.
okay, well, but it's fun. I really enjoy the game, and I
Yeah.
also play Arena online, which is
Oh
fun too. So I
yeah.
play the online version, which is
Okay.
a good way to learn the game, but also it can sometimes be too automatic to
Yeah.
where like you forget that you need to
You don't know
read
what you're
cards.
doing.
Yeah, we need to read like there's a lot that is
Yeah.
skipped over in the game, but yeah,
I have a lot of memories that like continue to haunt me of like opening Magic cards in the early 90s, and who knows what happened to those millions of dollars of cards that I probably had.
right,
They're in some landfill
yeah.
somewhere. Or maybe they're in a drawer in my parents' house.
Mhm.
Who knows? Any other sort of nerd things you like to do? I mean, Magic really takes the cake, but
Yeah. Well, let's see. I bought myself a replica proton pack.
Ooh,
After
the new one that just came out from
it's a HasLabs
yeah,
one.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
not. It's the sort of mid-tier
Yeah,
version. It's not like the
that's pretty
super
good.
expensive one, and it's not the super, it's
Yeah,
not like the old iParty version or whatever
yeah,
I guess it
yeah,
was. Yeah,
yeah,
but it's somewhere in between, and it's good, and I've customized it a little bit, and so
yeah.
that's what I do on Halloween. I'll be a Ghostbuster on Halloween, so I do that. I go to the Ren Fair every year.
Yeah.
It's that sort of thing. I have some swords at home.
You're the
Yeah.
perfect person to have filled these shoes, it sounds like.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. You hear that, everyone?
You hear that? Clip it. Um, uh, it sounds like you already have your dream role, but if you had another dream role, what would that be?
Oh my goodness. Well, I would love to play a Ghostbuster in some capacity.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Or I guess a ghost.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Yeah, I don't know. I would love to set foot in the worlds of Star Wars and play a droid or something like that.
Yeah.
There's so many iconic roles that are across all the fandoms, voiced say by Alan Tudyk. There's
Yeah.
there's someone with a resume of roles like which I would be
Yeah.
grateful to play at some point. That sort of there's a Pixar bird, and then there's a there's a Star Wars droid. Those are I'd like to pick and choose from like a
Yeah.
little if I could an actor
Did you
buffet.
start out specifically wanting to do voice acting, or is that something that kind of like morphed into from?
Yeah, I did not start out with VO in mind. In
Yeah.
fact, it was always taught as this entirely separate world. I think, there were all these false notions in college that were, from acting professors also saying, oh, yeah, there's 5 people who do voiceover, and if you're not one of them, you're never going to work in that. And I found it to be completely the opposite.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of people doing voiceover. Yeah, there's a lot of people who will be cast consistently and keep coming up in everything, and they are great. But there's also just such a welcoming community, and
Yeah.
there's so much voice out there in the world, whether it's on the commercial or promo side, and lots of ways in, and I'd say lots of more accessible ways in than the on-camera world.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it wasn't really something that I had sought out to pursue when I moved to Los Angeles. I thought, hey, movies, being on camera. And
Yeah.
VO loved me back much quicker once I started to pay attention to it.
Sure.
And I also fell in love with it.
It feels like it's kind of you get like the best of both worlds. Like you get to flex your acting chops in all sorts of ways, but you also can like I don't know, be a little bit more chill on set.
For sure. I mean, yeah, it's not as demanding on the actual workday in terms
Yeah.
of hours. And most people don't recognize voice actors on site either. So
Sure.
it's sort of like you go to a convention, people know you're there, they know your work. You go to the grocery store, and most people don't know who you are, and it's nice. It's
Yeah.
sort of a occasional anonymity.
You played a part on your IMDb, water park guest in Grown Ups. What can you tell me about Kevin James?
Not much. I didn't really interact with him, if I'm being honest. But we were on set, so they filmed the original Grown Ups in that at least the water park scenes
Yeah.
at a place called Water Whiz,
Ooh,
which is where
that's not a good name for a
that's
water
where
park.
you want to swim. That's in Wareham, Mass, and which is not far from where I'm from, about a half hour from where I grew up. And yeah, I spent a little over a week on set just
Yeah.
doing some featured background stuff. And when you're on something like that in a very specific location for more than say a day or two, you do have interactions with the main cast and everything, and it was cool. I think it was right after my freshman year of college, so I was trying to get my Taft Hartleys for the union, trying to
Yeah.
get my union card.
Is
And
that the kind of stuff you
yeah.
did to like to pay your dues, like some background stuff?
Yeah, to get the credits to get into the union.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was background stuff because Boston was a huge. There was a lot of filming there, at least
For
for those
sure.
couple years, and so I owe my first opportunities as a professional actor to those casting directors in Boston
Yeah.
who gave me a shot, and yeah, that was a really fun opportunity. The the water park scene, it was raining almost that entire week
Oh
too.
my
So if it looks sunny, that was giant lights above there. But it was fun. You actually got to go down the water slide,
Well,
and
there you go.
yeah, it was cool.
Did you have any real shitty jobs in that period? Anything that is like, oof, that was a bad one?
Oh, wow. I mean, we all.
Spill some tea for me.
Yeah. I mean, do you mean like specifically in entertainment
Yeah,
or
yeah.
yeah?
Well, I mean, Jesus, anything, I guess. You were like this one time I was hooking on the corner.
um, I'm grateful for every job I've ever had because it got me to where I'm at. There were definitely some jobs I wasn't good at. I,
Yeah.
I mean, I that same summer that I was working on Grown Ups, the first half I was a barista at Panera,
Uh,
and I was very bad at it. I love drinking coffee.
yeah.
You don't want me making your drink.
Listen, I own a
It's a
coffee
skill.
shop and
Yeah,
I know nothing about it.
it is a skill. Any service job really is, and I never found that I was very good at it. So
Yeah.
I just get very flustered. And
What's your fallback when all this goes tits up, and not just this, but like Hollywood in general?
just sort of put on some face paint,
Yeah.
get myself a nice sharp spear,
Yep.
and hunt AI machines and data centers from
We're gonna
the
need that,
shadows,
honestly.
and just yeah, go I don't know Mad Max on them or whatever.
Yeah.
Just have to or I guess maybe like Jerry from the earlier seasons on the the Cronenberg planet, Cronenberg Jerry.
What's the chatter like about AI in the animation voiceover world? Is it as bad? I mean, it's got to be as bad, if not worse. We work in television also, but
Sure.
we build and design sets, which is also being eaten by the AI overlords.
Yeah, listen, I just feel like it's being foisted on us in
Yeah.
such a way where people are saying, this is inevitable, and this is, it's here to stay, and it's a tool, and I'm just like, dude, in no other context would language like that be acceptable.
Right.
Like, yeah, this might as well happen. Just let this happen. Fuck you. No, sorry. Are we? Is that cool?
We're
Yeah.
not live. You could say fuck all
Great.
you want.
Awesome. Fuck AI.
Yeah.
And I don't mind saying that. Again, I'm not hopping on any bandwagons here. We don't need generative AI taking the roles of creatives in our
Yeah.
industry. We just don't. And it's I think there's so many perspectives to take on this debate, and I think it just comes down to everyone's kind of personal integrity. I,
Yeah.
I think I think it really is, it's because you can't Google search anything now without AI being involved, even if you
Right.
don't like it.
Yeah.
So yeah, in
Even
that
like your Amazon is
yeah,
like.
right, and companies are implementing it, and we're just in a world right now where yes, in those ways it's unavoidable. But in
Hmm.
the ways that you can avoid it, in the ways that you can still control, you don't have to log on and say, "Paint me a picture of this thing."
Right.
You don't have to do that. You can go and draw something yourself. And I'm not saying that when I say fuck AI, I'm not talking about Clippy.
Yeah.
From Microsoft Word. I'm saying, there are jobs and people's livelihoods and skills that are as ancient as the human race
Right.
that, on the one hand, I feel really can never be replaced. But so why try to do that,
Right. We didn't ask
Right.
for this,
Right.
you
And
know?
and I have to imagine that it wasn't people saying, "Oh, this is the one thing AI can do. Let's replace all the artists real quick and just kick them to the curb."
Right.
I have to imagine that there was some board meeting in Silicon Valley that was like, we want AI to run all these other nefarious parts of government and business in our
Spreadsheets
lives.
and data and
Yeah,
blah blah
and data
blah.
collection on people's lives.
Yeah.
We have to sell it by it being kind of cool and fun. So let's start with paintings and let's
Yeah.
start with voice replicas. And unfortunately, people have bought into that
Yeah.
and said, "Oh wow, that is cool. I can just press a button and it can say what I want it to say." And
Awful.
it's awful.
Have you heard about that Netflix show that it's like Wonka challenge show? It's like a reality
I
show.
just saw the promo for that.
Yeah, so
Yeah, just saw that.
they famously apparently recreate Gene Wilder's voice in AI using or they got permission from the estate or something to do it,
Okay.
which somehow makes it okay, I guess.
Listen, yeah, I can't speak for Gene Wilder's estate. I will say I will personally,
Yeah.
I would rather watch a Gene Wilder movie
Yeah.
or read his book, Kiss Me Like a Stranger. I don't know if you've ever read it.
No.
Great book. Amazing autobiography. Um, Yeah, that's that. I mean, what a great man, great actor, great
Yeah.
story. So I think, yeah, I mean, why do we feel the need to create something like that when what that person already did speaks for itself and
Yeah.
speaks volumes beyond it, just in what it is and what it was. Did you see the video of not to get political, but did you see the video of the AI Teddy Roosevelt?
I
Uh,
didn't see the video. I read the headline and I was like,
well,
I don't
it's
want to see that.
yeah, well, yeah, and yeah, and I really do try to avoid those rabbit holes, but yeah, it's like his body of work is there. The legacy that any president left
Yeah.
on the nation is there. Why do we feel the need to walk up, press a button, and start talking to it like this thing like it's
Yeah.
it's supremely weird.
Yeah.
You
Like
know,
when Kanye famously made the like AI hologram of Kim's past father. Do you remember that? Anybody?
I must have blocked it out,
Yeah.
but it is that
Not
same
great.
thing. It is that same thing. It's why do we feel the need to do that?
Yeah. Yeah. I
I
don't
don't know.
know. This is taking a weird turn.
It has.
But you know what? It's good content.
Great. Well, and you know what? It's human generated content.
Yeah, god
This
damn
took
it.
a natural turn. Yeah, right. Yeah.
You mentioned Gene Wilder's book. You read a lot of books. You listen to a lot of books.
Not as much as I wish I did.
Yeah.
And I found myself I love to read.
Yeah.
I find myself I don't know, maybe I have something undiagnosed, but I find myself
We
just so
all do.
easily distracted. And
Yeah.
so I read in chunks and I'll start 3 books at once, and then I'll make headway on each one of them out of order. It's just based on, again, I'm eclectic. It's based on my mood and the day.
Yeah.
I did just recently get a Kindle, which I know we're talking about Amazon and AI
Down
and
with
how
the
much we
man,
hated
but
that. And
yeah.
I love the feel of a paperback book, and I love going to comic book stores, and
Yeah.
I love going to bookstores. The smell of a Barnes and Noble, even,
Yeah.
but more so like independent bookstores.
Sure.
I love it. I love it. My wife's a writer. We love old book smell.
Yeah.
There's something like that can never be replaced.
Sure.
But I also wish that I read more, and I just started on my Kindle, and this is a good reason to have a Kindle.
Yeah.
Brandon Sanderson's
Oh,
Mistborn.
yeah.
So a book that big doesn't
He's a
travel
big
well.
fat fatty.
Yeah, right. So that's something I can
Yeah. I keep buying Kindles and I keep saying, you know what, this is the one I'm going to actually use. And then I never
Yeah.
get around to it. But we're big proponents of Dungeon Crawler Carl around here,
Yeah.
which I'm sure you've heard of.
All the rage right now.
Yeah.
Super cool.
We should get an Ian Cardoni cameo in the live action show.
I agree.
How can we make that happen?
I agree. Someone who might be involved in that production as a fan of this, right? Might be watching this podcast and just know that I'm interested. Yeah.
Boom,
For that,
done.
for sure. And, for that matter, when they do Mistborn, I mean, I would love to play in a new big fantasy or sci-fi
Yeah.
thing, the next big thing,
Yeah.
right?
Does working on Rick and Morty give you time to are, how do I say this? Do you have enough time to like have a personal life outside of work? Is it just like is it big chunks of when you're working and then big chunks off? Like are you pursuing other jobs as well?
Oh yeah, I'm auditioning every day.
Yeah.
And absolutely. I'm not, as again, dream job, not resting on my laurels either. I definitely
yeah.
want to, I don't want to get complacent. I'm constantly auditioning, and I'm never satisfied with my auditions. I'm always trying to do another take.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do more and more and test myself, push myself. And yeah, I'm absolutely, I have a life outside of that. I'm grateful to be able to travel a little bit as part of this job.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is a big summer. My wife and I just bought. We're moving.
Congratulations.
And thank you. And we're expecting. So that is a
congratulations.
huge part of my life right now
Shit.
is preparing to be a dad.
Yeah, it's
And,
all about to be over, huh?
no, it's just beginning, man. I'm so genuinely excited.
That's exciting.
And it's it's a whole new chapter on the horizon. And Grandpa's gonna be a dad. So so I'm just thrilled. That is honestly taking up that's all my time and energy and focus right now.
Yeah.
And so I'll read again someday. For now, I'm getting a house ready and planning things. But yeah.
Before we go, can you teach me a little bit about the voice and how you make it happen, and I don't know, a little tutorial or something.
Sure.
Maybe just show me the magic.
Are you like gunning for the job? Or
no. I'm far too lazy.
No. It's, yeah, no. I mean, there's stuff I've learned along the way. You know, I think it's easy for anyone to listen to a line and repeat a line and have it sound pretty accurate, right?
Yeah.
But then to be able to pick up fresh material and stay in the pocket of that voice, you know, I think that's the biggest transition that I had was, you know, okay, this is not just saying wubba lubba dub dub. This is, you know, I have to now, you know, do this whole speech. So for me, there's a few lines that get me into it. Even, you know, every session I repeat a line from the Poopy episode, which is Caribbean Queen, written by Hugh Jackman, age 16. And so that just kind of gets me into it. This, you know, it's just like an on-ramp. It's a launch point. A lot of voice actors use that for, you know, getting back to like a baseline for a character. So that's the more conversational Rick.
Okay.
And then there's touch my shit and die. That's not a threat for me. That's how advanced my shit is. And that's if I need to go a little higher like that.
Yeah.
And then throughout a session, I'll do things like ah! like you know, the real efforts and screams, and that kind of gets me into 3 different gears, shall we say, for Rick. And there's a lot of honey and hot water involved in any session. There's a lot of non-alcoholic beer involved to get the burps. So I have a whole array of tricks in front of me. And, you know, I also like to do jumping jacks and cardio during and before sessions because it really gets things moving. It requires so much breath. More breath than you ever, you know, even just to get through a couple lines conversationally, because there's a tightening and a gruffiness to this voice, which any voice coach would say would try to coach you away from unless it was the specific ask of the job.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's not a healthy voice to do, but there's ways to protect yourself as you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think easy pitfalls are to get too nasally with it.
Yeah.
Or to constrict too much, you know? And so you got to let the air flow, and you got to just let it rest in the back a little bit. And that's how I achieve that sound.
I'm getting chills.
All right. Well, there you go. I'm all about the goosebumps.
Wow. All right. Well, on that note, thank you so much for sitting down with us. Ian Cardoni, the show airs every Sunday?
Every Sunday on Adult Swim.
We've got like a bunch more episodes left in season 9.
And also streaming on HBO Max and Hulu.
Yeah, love it. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
That's our show. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Shot.